Please do.
Just to test it, just make sure it sounds good.
See, but now I got water mouth again when I'm all.
We need to get you like a chamois. Mouth chamois.
They always give me a hard time for never having water, but then I feel like my mouth gets all gushy and I'm too like, I'm an over salivator anyway.
Well, that reminds me of I don't know what podcast I was listening to, but they were talking about Howard Stern when he was still on regular radio, and he would have this porn star come every once in a while, and she was known for, sorry kids, she was known for the audio he'd play is of her giving someone a BJ, and the sound of it is almost like that same sound.
Which sound, that quacking sound?
Yes. Or making, like I say, potato salad, too.
Yeah, the kush. The mac and cheese kush.
Big cooking sponge.
Exactly.
Like that?
You're like, yes,
it's unpleasant is what it is. So, you are welcome.
Thank you. Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Let's...
Crisp.
Alright. And we're rolling.
All right, we're going to be talking today with my good friend and first guest, Alicia Holland. And she is actually part of a dynamic podcast duo with her and Emily Rowney. Hopefully I'm saying Emily's last name right.
Yes.
Very good. With their true crime podcast, Murder in the Rain, which can be found on iTunes and everything, right?
iTunes, Stitcher, every major platform.
Yeah.
You're streaming.
And when did you guys start? Because, I mean, it's pretty, just quick. I mean, you guys have done very well in a short amount of time.
Yeah, we decided in January and then released in April, and now we just came out, at time of recording this, came out with our 9th episode. So yeah, we're coming right along.
Well, and I have to say, I want to give a shout out and mad props to Alicia because she's. I don't know if you guys watch RuPaul drag show. I do, but the youngins there that are becoming what we call drag queens.
Right.
They have a drag mama, and Alicia's kind of like my drag mama, but in the podcast world.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
And has been holding my hand, trying to figure this out, and introduced me to our wonderful editor, Josh. So thank you. I just wanted to give you that because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. We'll just figure this out.
Make it up as we go. That's what it's all about.
So before you share, I'm so excited for you guys. Before you share your, misheard lyric, can you explain how we met back in 2008, just to set the tone?
Yeah, so it was my first time, and I don't know if that was
my
your
first
was that
time
your
too.
First year? We were at Oaks Park, which is a little amusement park, but from kind of lost in time. And it was the roller rink area of the Oaks Park, and it was our first time attending Thrill the World, which is the annual Guinness World Record attempt, and I think we break it every year, of everyone around the world dancing the Thriller dance at the same predetermined time. So it's 2 o'clock for us, and it's 5 o'clock East Coast, and it's 1 in the morning in Russia or whatever.
Exactly.
And you were a bride.
That first year.
That first year.
Yes.
And I don't remember what I was. I think I was just like in pajamas or something.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, like in a duster. A zombie duster.
Yes, exactly. So you dress as zombies, and then you go. And then it was like, okay, that was fun. And then the next year you were Gumby.
Yes.
Or Zombie, as you're known as now. Literally in my phone, you're Zombie Mel. And so I didn't see your face or anything. And then the third year, Zombie's back. And I'm like, hey, hi. Like, you're here every year, I think. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I was the bride. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then year after year, just like, that was our annual get-together.
11 years.
To say hi. And I don't remember what our first rollover into real life. I don't remember if it was like one of our birthdays or a karaoke party.
I remember it actually was, so after when, it was year, I think, 6 or 7, Alicia was dressed as Lady Gaga with the famous, I can't remember which video, but she has her hair in curlers, but the curlers are with beer bottle.
Yeah, and then the meat dress, it was like meat dress mixed with telephone video, basically.
That was it. And then that's when we were like, she was like, I like karaoke, and then the rest was history, and then our worlds collided even outside of Thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's us. And I'm, in the way, I'm so, like, literally honored that you would even call me your podcast mother, because you're so inspirational, just, like, always positive, like, you know everyone, and everyone knows you and loves you, and the things you host, like, you're so creative, and, like, I mean, picture like, oh, you're just going through a neighborhood in Oregon, like you're just driving through and it's, just houses, but then there's a 10-foot giant cock.
Exactly.
A big rooster. There's a big rooster in front of her house, like a big metal rooster, and it's amazing. And then you go in and it's like a magical wonderland, but without trying. And it's like, that's so Mel. So anyway, so I'm so happy for you doing the show and honored to be your first guest.
Well, thank you to my podcast mama.
Right? So, and now I don't know what we're going to do about Thrill the World with Michael Jackson. That's a whole other story.
It'll be interesting. Oh my God. There's many, because I actually now do the Thrill the World every year at in Portland. We have this thing called 80s video dance.
Right.
And it's an amazing theory, and I don't know how she gets away with it. But every Friday and Saturday, you can go to a thing called the Crystal Ballroom. And it's all the videos shown from the 80s. It's so much fun. And so every year, in the last 2-3 years, I've been doing that dance on stage. And I just saw even the comments. They're like, well, I don't even know if we should do that anymore. That's going to offend people. So we're going to see when we get there. We need someone to cover it.
We need like Lizzo to do a new show. Like, let's just start over.
I think.
Let's appreciate that for what it was. Yeah. But we can't. It's too sour.
I love that. I think that's a great idea. Let's do it.
Okay. I'll call her.
Okay, just call her. She's probably on your she's probably downloaded your show, so I wouldn't be surprised. So, hey, put it out there. The universe is listening, right? In your dream board.
Well, I mean, if Twitter can get Weezer to do Africa, we can get Lizzo to do Thriller. Okay. I know what I'm doing with my afternoon.
I have a feeling it's going to be done. Okay, gal. So I want to set this up, and then we're going to go from there. Yeah. So when I shared the theory of what I wanted to do with this podcast, this was one of the ideas, and what killed me was, in a second, Alicia's going to share what her misheard, which now we see is not just, there's many memes that I found on this. I had no idea. So please share with us your misheard lyric.
Well, yes, there are plenty, as most people have. So Jagged Little Pill came out in 96?
Yes.
Is that right?
Roughly. Yeah. Actually, sorry.
Yeah.
July 7th, 1995.
Oh, 95. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm in middle school and amazed at Alanis Morissette, who's, looking back, was only a couple years older than me.
She was,
which is crazy. I look back, I'm like, 19 and you're thinking that way? I can't even, get through the day being like, what?
Well, you didn't date what's-his-face from Full House, so we'll go into that, too.
That's a fair exchange. I didn't have to date him, but I didn't get a big album.
Cut it out. Okay.
And also, where's more flack towards him on, dating a 19-year-old? Because he was, 30-something.
Yes, I didn't even realize that.
There was never, hey, that's real gross. It was all just oh, that's weird that they were doing. They're like, oh, it's Canada, it's fine. So then, You Oughta Know comes out, and I'm a middle schooler, and that video, and the sound, everything was so, whoa, what is this? And I am not a religious person, and, went to church a couple times a year growing up, so I didn't understand a lot of biblical phrasing. And, so then comes along, is it in the chorus, I believe, right?
Yeah, so the part of the chorus, you're right. So when she says, let's just look at the lyrics here. And I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me. The correct lyric is, of the cross I bear that you gave to me, you ought to know.
Right. And as a 12-year-old, I think it was definitely cross-eyed bear that you gave to me. Which in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, how cute. They went to a carnival and he played the throwing at the milk jug game, and he won a bear because it's carnival level. It was cross-eyed.
Which is hard to do, to win anything. Those things are shams.
But they're always janky. It'll be I think that's Mickey Mouse. Sort of. So it all made sense of I won this bear and it's cross-eyed, but I'm leaving it. And so, and she's a teenager. So she has a stuffed bear on her bed. It just and she's just really pissed that he left a cross-eyed bear with her to remind her of their times together, going to the carnival and playing games.
And it makes sense because when you look at the lyrics, it's that's plausible.
Fits.
Plausible.
Yeah.
Well, so since that meeting this fateful meeting to talk about the show, and then like, hey, let's do the misheard lyrics, and then you shared with that. I made a cross-eyed bear.
Oh my god!
Because I assume this is kind of what it looked like.
Oh my god, that's so good.
And I thought, this would be perfect.
That's so good.
With the song, but I just.
That is not the first time I know of a cross-eyed bear being
okay. Well, explain that story.
Because I shared this story. Circling back, so the person that I was like sort of dating, whatever, and then did a different podcast with, who introduced me to Josh, who was on this show. This all comes together very beautifully. I was telling him this story. We were talking about just random stuff like this, and I told him, I was like, "Oh, I always thought it was cross-eyed bear," and he was like, "Oh yeah, me too," and I was like, I'm not alone in this. He was like, and then I was kind of dating this girl back in the day, and she thought I was too, and he made her a cross-eyed bear and gave it to her like as a gift of, bonding of, look, we both misheard this and didn't know the term cross-eyed bear. And so it was very like comforting to me to be like, I'm not
You're not alone. You're not alone.
This.
So let's package that too. Is so when that happened, you're like, oh, this could be my soulmate.
A little. There was a moment of like, yeah. And I was like, wow, you made a cross-eyed bear instead of like, you didn't just laugh and think they were an idiot. That's promising.
That is promising. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, no.
How long did that last?
It's a brief moment.
I was gonna say.
That moment was fleeting.
Okay.
We'll say.
But he came into your life. There's a reason for when people.
Oh yeah, and we're still friends to this day, and I wouldn't be doing my other show.
See.
Literally, I would not have my other show, which I hope becomes like my career in my life. If it wasn't for that person. So all in all, cross-eyed bear maybe be the foundation of my entire life.
Right.
Like, do I have to go get that tattooed on me right now? Am I having, like, a moment?
Kinda. I know my husband was like, what are you doing over there? We were watching, it was like Friday night, and I said, I think I got some felt in my, and I think I had the colors for what? I said, I got to make a cross-eyed bear. He goes, for what? And I explained for the show, and he's like, okay.
Right, he's like, whatever. I'm used to it.
So I love that story, and then it got me to thinking like, okay, let's delve into what the song's about.
Yeah.
The history. So does everyone want to know what?
Yes.
So you're right. It came out in 1995. From what I can see of the research, it was on her Jagged Little Pill, July 7th. And prior to that, you're right. She was like 19. She had actually 2 successful studio albums.
Okay.
Through MCA Records in Canada, because she is Canadian. But then left and was introduced by a gentleman by the name of, a manager actually, Scott Welch.
Okay.
I don't know the name, But he's integral because when she meets him, they're saying, well, you need to start working on your new music. Because at that time she was known as bubblegum pop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which surprised me because of that angst of a,
She was very bright and shiny back in Canada days.
So she, had to make new music. So they said, let's move you from your hometown of Ottawa. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Sure. To Toronto, and so she could make some progress. And then eventually it led her to traveling to L.A.
Okay.
And that's where she met a gentleman by the name of Glenn Ballard in 1994, where I guess the publishing company matched them up.
Right.
And the interesting thing is when they met, and he was much older, he said the connection was instant, and that was his quote unquote. And he also said, within 30 minutes of meeting each other, they had begun experimenting with different sounds in his studio because she was open to anything. And he was like, well, you're bubblegum. I don't know. Where do you want to go with this? That's
usually very restrictive box
Exactly.
Situation.
And he was, he also actually declared to Rolling Stone that, again, quote unquote, I'm using air quotes, I just connected with her as a person and almost, parenthetically, it was like, wow, you're 19. Same thing what you just said earlier. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of stuff she was going through, apparently, and he just couldn't believe not only how wise from her years she was, but she was also very intelligent, is what he said, and she was willing to take a chance on something that might have no commercial appeal.
Right.
So he was excited about that. And so both he and Morissette co-wrote the song and later produced it. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Okay. And if you knew this, you knew more than I. So they write the song together. They got to figure out who's going to do the music part, right? So they had an LA producer friend. They're in LA by the name of Jimmy Boyle, and who recorded and engineered. And he's like, well, let me bring some of my friends to help with the music and the tracks. So he recruited 2 musicians. One of them, Flea,
Okay, yeah, I knew he had something to do with it.
Yeah, and then Dave Navarro. So did you know about the Dave Navarro?
I knew that Taylor was Taylor from Foo Fighters was her tour drummer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is cool. So Dave Navarro, I knew him in Jane's Addiction, but then he did a small one-album stint with Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's why those two came on board.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm excited to share with you, especially with Alicia and her podcast with Murder in the Rain, do you know about the Dave Navarro thing? About his family? This is a fun fact.
No.
So Dave Navarro, it's actually a true crime fun fact. So Dave's mother was actually murdered by her ex-boyfriend, John Riccardi, back in March of 1983, when he's around the same age as I am, in our mid-40s, maybe a little bit older. Riccardi was arrested in 1991, all to a viewer doing a tip when it was featured on the television show America's Most Wanted.
Oh my gosh.
So I didn't know if you knew about that.
I did not.
His mom
That's
was killed by that
wild.
boyfriend. And so he has, if you go through the interweb or read any articles, he has said that, of course, obviously at a young age, helped kind of bring him into his depression and having to deal with, moving on. So the America's Most Wanted thing was what I was like, wow, it really worked.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
I mean, terrible. But that's great that they were at least were able to get the guy.
They got the guy.
Wow. And what I love the 6 degrees of separation of everyone.
That's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, when it's Dave Navarro was with Flea, and then Chili Peppers, and then over here to, and then this goes to, yeah.
But I didn't know about that. You said the drummer was connected to her?
So the drummer of Foo Fighters now, Taylor, and I'm totally blanking his last name, he kind of got his big start, my understanding, was as the tour drummer for Alanis.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's another connection I didn't know about. So on top of that, of course, the song was the first released track that, again, took her from the bubblegum pop that Canada knew about to this alternative rock. Because in the 90s, it was alternative rock.
Oh, yeah. That video, she is grimy in that video.
Yes.
Like, the visual, like, the cinematography itself is just blurry and messy. And her hair is oily and kind of twisted and messy, but not, like,
But it works, right? Because can you imagine a video that was all perfect? And it wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't work.
So yeah, we're going to touch that a little bit too about that video. So they make the song, they do the lyrics, they connect, they get the music with it, and then in order to promote the song, they wanted to have a video.
Right.
So perfect segue.
Right.
And it was.
I practiced.
I know. And it was actually directed by a gentleman by the name of Nick Egan, or I think it's Egan, E-G-A-N, and it was added to her Jagged Little Pill World Tour in 1995. And she was like, I remember I was in my 20s, so I'm much older than all you guys. Hi there. But it was an MTV Unplugged. It was in a lot of, 97 Grammys. She had a lot of, accolades. And in fact, I love to share with this. So in 1996, the single was nominated for 3 Grammy Awards, winning the awards for Best Rock Song and Best Female Rock Vocal Performance, but losing the Grammy Award for Song of the Year. Can you imagine?
Let's see. Wait. Let's see. So it's 97 Grammys?
No, it's 1996. And she has the other 2 won, but she loses Song of the Year and the Grammys to.
I want to say something really cheesy like Sunny Came Home or something, but that was later.
But you're on the right track.
Like Sarah McLachlan. It's something like, really?
You're pretty close. It's Seal's song "Kiss from a Rose."
Oh no, that's okay. I'll be okay with that.
Okay, you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'll still to this day defend that Batman soundtrack.
Okay. So that's who she lost it to.
Okay, well, I'm not mad about it.
Okay.
Which Batman movie? Was that Batman?
That was
Forever?
Batman.
Yes.
Val Kilmer?
That was Val Kilmer. It had Jewel.
That was like my favorite. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Great movie.
That was in the rotation with the Godzilla soundtrack.
And was that the only Val Kilmer Batman that was done?
Oh yes.
Because prior to that was Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah.
After that,
George Clooney.
And then after that,
Ben Affleck.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really gone.
Christian Bale.
Oh, Christian Bale.
Oh,
That's
duh.
right.
That whole huge series that made billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I only saw the Heath Ledger one.
Sorry, Batman fans.
I couldn't do his voice. Christian Slater.
Oh, that would be
Christian
awesome.
Slater.
Oh my God. Binks.
Okay, I'll call him too. But Christian Bale, I couldn't take that voice. It was too like. it was too much. It
Yeah.
was like, stop being a little boy playing Batman. Anyway, how do you get on Batman? Oh, Kiss from a Rose.
Kiss from a Rose. I love these.
I'm not mad about that.
So that's who she lost it to.
Okay.
So I didn't know if you guys knew that too, because I was like,
Right.
Okay. And then, so what is the song all about? So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Before I ask Alicia, I'm going to ask our editor, Josh, what did you think it was about? Before you heard it, like
the man point of view.
Yeah, the man point.
Oh, I mean, I guess I just thought she sounded angry about a guy that broke her heart, right? I mean, I was into that. I knew that. I liked when I was that age. I was like 16 at the time. I really was into like love songs, like Lisa Loeb's.
Oh my God, Stay!
I watched it over.
Oh
and
my
over and over
God.
again.
That's
So
a great video.
That's a great video.
Sarah McLachlan. I was into like a lot of Tori Amos. Like I was into a lot of that.
Oh,
So
you're at the what was
we're
that?
at the Lilith Fair. Were you at the Lilith Fair?
No, but that's definitely
Your heart was in.
yes, that's definitely a festival that I would probably be okay going to.
That's
But, yeah.
you were a sweet boy.
Oh,
I was a sweet boy. I
Oh
was
my
a sensitive man.
God. Okay, so we know now something new about Josh, his sweetness. So awesome. Okay, Alicia, what did you think it was about?
I wasn't sure at first. I literally remember where I was. I was in my best friend Lisa's house, and because she was allowed to have MTV on, and I was walking out the door, and the music started, and I turned around and stood behind her couch and stared at the screen for 3.5 minutes, just being like, "What is that?" Like one of those "Where were you?" moments.
Yes.
That is super one for. And I'm not like some huge Alanis fan.
Yes.
It was just so pivotal, like to be an angsty preteen and have that come along. So I didn't super know, except she was angry at a dude, and I was like, I didn't fully understand like when I'm scratching down someone else's back, like what, like when you're like sitting watching a movie and like scratching their back, like, I wasn't quite sure on the details, and obviously a cross-eyed bear, so I had some naivete going into it, but she was definitely mad at an ex-boyfriend is what I took it.
Absolutely. And when you think of it, so just before I go into this part, prior to the song, really the only other kind of angst song of pure breakup, and you guys, people probably listening are going to comment, will maybe not agree with me, was really in my era when I was a young kid was Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive.
Oh yeah.
So that she was left, but it was still kind of an anthem, but this was more an angrier anthem.
Yeah. That was the I'm gonna be okay and I'm a strong woman.
Yes.
This is like, I'm gonna be okay after I burn your house down.
Yes.
And it was like, that's cool too.
That's why I think it hit a lot of mostly women, but I think some men out there of I'm here right now, and I'm there with your angry white woman.
And dudes still to this day, because like every once in a while, you'll hear it at karaoke and stuff.
You sing it. You sing it, right? Sometimes.
I don't know if I've ever done it,
okay.
but like you kind of feel and you feel dudes like turn away, or like now's a good time for like it makes men uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I love that. Like literally, it's just like, oh, somebody got dumped. And it's like you're just mad because she might totally screw with you. And,
exactly.
yeah, but it's pretty great to see.
That's what a lot of people thought, and the other part of the song too that I got confused. I didn't get the cross-eyed bear, which I still was the line when she says, "An older version of me." Is she perverted like me? I thought, and there's also lots of memes out there, I thought she was saying an older virgin like me.
Oh.
And I thought, well, okay, he didn't go with the younger virgin, but he obviously has a virgin
thing. I want
a
39-year-old virgin. That really gets it. Yeah, and does she go down on you in a theater?
Yes.
Because first off, that took a long time for me I had to have the album before I even heard that line.
Oh, because they didn't have it on the radio. Oh my God, that's
didn't
right.
play it on the video.
Yes.
And then I had that, and I was like, does she go down? And I could just zero context of what that even possibly was. So just like, what, like making out, but she's Canadian, so that's what they say. Like I could not.
Oh yeah, let's go down.
Oh, you want to go to the movies? Let's go on down over there.
Go down with each other.
Don't worry, I'm still an old virgin. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea, but again, it was just like, she's. I'm mad too. My mom wants me to clean my room. Yeah.
Was there an alternate lyric for like the radio?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. Do you remember how did they do it back then? Because you couldn't use that.
I think they just cut it. I don't think they ever added anything.
Ah. Would she go down on you in
a theater? They would just like
maybe would you go with her to the theater?
Drive down with her.
Would you go to me over to the theater? Yeah, I think they just kind of turned the volume.
Okay, I think
would she go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But
okay, so you want to hear what people all
Yes.
thought it was. So, same thing of what you guys were thinking. Obviously, someone angry. So they asked her, what was
Right.
it about? So, because again, many people were like, oh, it's about Dave Coulier.
Yeah, it was kind of our generation's You're So Vain.
From Full House. Exactly.
It was always like, we all know it's Dave Coulier, but she's not saying it's Dave Coulier. And it might be this other guy, but like, is it him? Like,
exactly.
For a very long time.
So who knows, but this is what she said.
Okay.
And she says she wrote the song for her subconscious, again, air quotes. And this is, okay. I want almost you to read it so you have the Canadian accent. But she says, I wasn't aware of what was coming out of me. I go into the booth when the ink wasn't even dry and sing. I listened the next day and I really remember it. And so she said the LA producer, that Jimmy Boyle, that worked with her, that supervised the engineering, just said, we asked her, let's make a connection to get the demo tape into Mavericks, but they wanted this kind of more like angrier rock. Because again, she was bubblegum.
Yeah, and you're coming out of the grunge era too, so it's like trying to hold on to that a little bit.
Yeah, and there was also, there's something here about Navarro. It says, let me just read what he says. Navarro and Flea created the song at the studio together because, again, they were brought in by that one guy. They already heard the lyrics, but they were trying to figure out the sound part. He said there was no guide tracks. We just had the vocal to work from. This is what Dave Navarro said. And we basically jammed until we found something we were both happy with. Alanis was happy, too.
Wait, so they made it backwards?
Yeah.
Like she went in a booth and just had like a metronome and
just... No, I don't know about that. I think they wrote it. Her and that gentleman. Okay, and I could be wrong. So and then he took the lyrics.
Okay.
Gave to them, say what can you put together, and then they connected. But that's amazing when you think of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a songwriter per se, so I don't know if that's what everyone does, or is that just a very unique thing?
I feel like that's really. I feel like it's more like. You kind of have this melody, and then it's like, well, what is that melody feeling like, and then what do I want to put into it? But to be able to be like, hey, we got this bare bones thing, and here are the lyrics, and like go put some meat on the bones, like
it's so interesting.
Crazy.
And it might be some of it because later on in another episode, I'm going to be talking about an Elton John song.
Yes.
And he's famous for his collaborator Bernie Taupin, who does all the lyrics. And from what I can read of how they work, he always writes the lyrics and then he gives it. So I guess it just depends on the person. But for those of you who don't know, I've learned if you want to make a lot of money, I mean, the singer makes a lot of money, but that person that writes the song,
songwriter.
that's
and
what
then you
want.
get that songwriting credit for life, and you just get those checks. Oh, yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, so that's where we need to go. Again, another quote I found, she said is, well, I've never talked about who my songs were about, and I won't, because when I write them, they're written for the sake of personal expression. So with all due respect to whomever may see themselves in my songs, and it happens all the time, I never really comment on it because I write these songs for myself, not other people.
That's a little bit like, yeah, Dave Coulier, it was about you, but you're a raging egomaniac and you're a dick, so like stop making everything about you, and I'm not even going to justify it by saying that it is.
Because I think you're right, because of that, I think he got a resurgence of
did.
interest.
Everyone's like, what?
The guy would cut it out?
Everyone was like, he's had sex with somebody? What? Yeah, I think that was
he had the balls to leave Alanis.
Yeah, like, you've got a 19-year-old girlfriend that's, like, creative and
incredibly,
brilliant. That album, I mean, that whole Jagged Little Pill had, how many, like, 6 singles that were massive?
Yes, it wasn't just that. I mean, it wasn't just this song, but obviously this, I think, kind of blew it up for her, but you're right.
And the video, I mean, and granted, it obviously tapered off, and and she found her groove, which is awesome.
Yes.
It just wasn't in that same, that was such a time capsule moment of like that era and this new style and everything. And you have Ironic, and you have Hand in the Pocket, and all this stuff, and it was, but that whole album, you get deeper in, and it's like, Mary Jane is like this incredibly powerful song, and heartbreaking, and again, you're just, I remember listening, even getting older, and I'm like 15, 16, and I'm like, she's only a couple years older than me, and
it's amazing
writing like that, and it's pretty powerful stuff. But
and speaking of which, so another thing that both I alluded to earlier is both Alicia and I love karaoke, and we love to try different songs. But when you said Hand in Pocket, I don't know, have you been when I've done it where I will sing Hand in Pocket, and then out of nowhere I bust out a harmonica?
I believe I have, and it's fantastic.
It always scares people because they're like, oh, there's a harmonica.
Yeah, no. But it's necessary.
It is necessary. And so let's just go down to this rabbit hole for just a second on harmonica. So I learned just recently, if you're flying with a harmonica in your pocket, good reference to the song, or in your bag, you'll be stopped by TSA.
Did you learn this from firsthand experience?
Yes, so many times. So let me just share this. So this is a public service announcement. If you have a harmonica, a G harmonica to do that song. I was stopped. The funny thing is, so I live in Portland, Oregon. So does Alicia. So does Josh. Or actually, Josh is in the neighboring.
He's a Washingtonian.
He's a Washingtonian.
It's okay. You can out him.
That's all right. That's all right. And leaving what we call affectionately PDX or Portland International Airport, I had no problem because it was in my bag. Or it's when I kept coming back to Oregon that it was literally stopped and we need to check it. They set you aside.
They didn't understand.
And every time they're like, is that a harmonica? And of course I'm like this sheepish look like, why yes, The first time it happened, it was coming from Wisconsin, and they kind of chuckled. And they're like, okay, cool. Just can you pull it out for us and show it?
Play us the blues.
I could just
Write
imagine
down a couple numbers.
like John Popper, all of a sudden with my vest of harmonicas.
Well, let's see what song. I need it in this key. All right.
So Wisconsin said, okay, you shut, great. But it was interesting coming back from Chicago. They literally had there was TSA, 3 of them looking at me. So I pulled it out and they're like, oh, it's a harmonica. I wish I had it on video. And I said, can I ask what the concern is? They're like, it looks like a gun clip.
Oh,
it
totally
really does. I mean, the way...
It totally does.
Yeah.
I can see that for
so
sure.
I've stopped bringing the harmonica on my person, and I'll put it in my checked-in bag.
But I love that leaving Portland, they're like, well, that's obviously a harmonica. Can't you see it's packed next to her ukulele?
Yeah, keep it on.
Of course she's got a harmonica. I'm sorry, a gun clip? What? No, that's a harmonica. Imagine how many gun clips they've let through thinking it was harmonicas. Well, of course you would have that.
So yeah, it's a public service announcement.
Yeah,
Be careful.
Man, if I had $1 for every time I run into that problem.
But it was the facial expression of them like, oh, okay.
They thought they had something really exciting.
Yes.
They're like, gather around, guys. This is it. We finally got
We got someone. Look at that Asian gal with the yellow glasses. I think it's fake.
We're getting this gun clip. Oh, it's just a harmonica.
I was hoping, Josh, that they were going to ask me to perform it, but it was never asked. They just wanted
Next
to see
time,
it.
just force it on them. Be like, don't you see? What? Just like start laying down some tunes.
So anyway, don't, now you can bring it. Just put it in your check luggage. So she had a lot of songs on that album that was great. And the funny thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I heard when she finally found love and was happy and created, I don't even know what that other album was, she didn't get a lot of commercial success.
It didn't. She had the last hit, if I'm remembering correctly. Well, actually, it depends. She had that thank you song where she was naked.
Yes.
And that was very controversial.
Yes.
And then she had the Uninvited song on the City of Angels soundtrack, which was huge.
That's a beautiful song.
It really is. It's super. Someone did that at karaoke last week, and I was like, I've never heard. Wow, this. And it was a dude, and it was beautiful.
Dude?
Yeah.
Oh, the haunting. Wow.
Yeah, it was really good. But yeah, it all kind of. But it's also she kind of fell in her groove, and it's one of those where it's like, how many people do you know? All I can think of is Carole King or something, but those singer-songwriters, it's like they still sell all those albums and go on tour and all that, and you're like, really? But who got? And then it's like all these. It's like, yeah, I listen to that person. It's just not, in the masses. But and I think she just had her third kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Second husband.
Yes.
That's her first. Was Ryan Reynolds.
What? Oh, that's right. I totally forgot she was married to Ryan Reynolds before they divorced, and then he's now with Blake Lively, right?
Yes.
I totally forgot that.
After he was married to Scarlett Johansson.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Oh, thank you, Alicia, because I remember that whole succession of...
It's a thing.
Wow.
So, fun fact.
I love that fun fact. Well, let's talk about the video where you were saying. So, one of the... and we're going to get there, but one of the fun facts that I thought was interesting was Morissette held the record for the longest run by a woman atop the Billboard Alternative Song Charts, which was later surpassed by, who do you think it was?
Female alternative?
Yes.
Ooh.
I mean, she held it for many years until just recently someone knocked her off that.
Gaga.
Which one?
Lady Gaga.
I'm like, who's that?
She would have been on the pop chart.
Yeah, not alternative.
Oh, right,
Alternative. All I can think is like Paramore, because we don't really have alternative women anymore. But I know it's.
I was gonna make a guess that was very stupid.
No, just say it.
Taylor Swift.
It was.
Dumb guess.
It's
it
okay.
was a dumb guess.
It's okay, but
Yeah.
you get it was in 2013. So imagine what was around that time. So let's just simmer. It was a person that kind of came. Lord.
Oh.
Knocked her off.
It's so funny because like her alternative was still so like poppy clean.
Yeah, and she was also a young 18, 19-year-old. So
Yeah.
it's ironic.
Yeah.
Isn't it ironic? that Lord, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see that.
Yeah. So Alicia was right. Music video again was directed by Nick Egan, and I'm sent a message to him. Hopefully, you never know in the future.
Yeah.
You might want to talk to us about that. But it was filmed in the Mojave Desert.
Okay.
So that was that whole. You're right. That feel, that kind of dirty, gritty. And so it says in the video, Morissette aggressively runs through the desert landscape and sings into a microphone on a mock-up stage with her then band members performing, including a young. Let's see here. Taylor Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins, that's it.
That's it. Okay, I
Hawkins,
didn't know
yeah.
that. Throughout the
And
video.
I vividly remember this because I went to her tour, and part of like the in between times
Yeah.
they had videos of like them on tour and stuff, and I was like, oh, they're so cool. And then I was like, who's that hot guy? And then they like made out, like jokingly make out on the video, and I was like, who did she just make out with? Who's that guy? And then Foo Fighters comes along, and I was like, that's the hot guy that she
So
made
that-
out. And it all like I have a terrible memory, but sometimes things just stick.
You know, your memory's good because I didn't really know who that was until I just said it. So,
Taylor Hawkins.
so it's a young Taylor Hawkins, and then it says throughout the video, Morissette switches from a short black dress to a white tank top and coat to a blue silk shirt in the climax, all signifying her change in an image.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
She's like, you know what, Dave Coulier,
Right.
I'm in my little black dress. I'm going to a white tank top now,
Right.
and
just like,
I'm
yeah,
out.
here I am in my sexy like dating wear, and then I'm like comfortable with you dating, and now I'm pissed and I'm just gonna wear whatever I want because I don't care. Yeah, and I also always loved too that was her big break. That was her first like introduction, and you really don't see her face.
No.
Like if that's all you ever saw of her, you would never recognize her in the street. It's blurry. Her hair's in the way, like, which I also found ballsy because it's the era of like. Almost peak music video. We're not quite to like the Britney era and stuff.
Yes.
But music videos were everything, and it's like you got to get your face out there. You got to be, and it was like.
It's a great point.
No, I don't care because it's about the song, and I'm pissed, and here you go.
And
it wasn't about her
thank you
face.
for bringing that up because I always thought that was really, I think, ballsy for not sure. And then I always thought before, what's her name? You sing her a lot, Sia.
Oh,
I always thought, if I were like a famous singer, I would not want to show my face.
Right.
And then you could because the Daft Punk guys could go in and out of society with no problem.
Yeah.
And I thought it was genius she did that too, where she's not showing her face as much as she could.
Right.
Not.
And I love that currently, and probably also on the Billboard Alternative, Billie Eilish. But she does that with her body, and she's talked about that because she always wears these oversized, I mean, they're fairly ridiculous clothes, but like big oversized, like those shorts that are like, are those shorts or like mom pants kind of a thing? And then, baggy t-shirts and sweatshirts. And she's like, because no one can say anything about my body because you haven't seen it. And it's like, oh, damn, okay, that's pretty out. And she's only like 17 or something, so obscene. But
do you think artists like Billie Eilish can do that now because we're now in an era where she really doesn't have to work with an album company and you can produce your own thing now?
Oh, yeah, because she came from YouTube strictly. I mean, and she was huge. And so it's like, and everyone's desperate, and it's not this idea of like, yeah, you have to do what the record label says. It's like, no, I don't. I can do whatever I want, And plus, we're in this era, we were actually, Jamie and I were talking about this last night of, about 10 years after Alanis, and from Alanis on, like that peak when, as a society, we were just like bullies. It was all like, looking back, it was just like tearing down, Perez Hilton and all that, where it was just like, what are they wearing? What are they doing? Are they on drugs? Are they?
That's true.
And it was just like, so gross, and to see people that aren't showing their face or aren't showing their body, and it's like now we're in this place where it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter because here's my music. So
and it's true. Like I think we're going to that, and I'm curious to see what other spectrum will be swinging back from that. It's like, are we going to go back to overexposure? And speaking of overexposure, there was several covers of this song. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not.
I only knew of this, but speaking of exposure, one of the covers was done by Britney Spears.
Really?
Yes, check it out on YouTube.
You've heard this?
Yeah, I mean it's not bad, but I mean it's just like I didn't even know that she did that.
Wow.
Yeah, so Britney Spears covered it. Beyonce covered it.
What?
Yes. Weird Al Yankovic covered it.
I can see.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then my one kind of like favorite kind of interesting dude that I love to hear, and he's one that someone introduced me to 10 years ago, but Richard Cheese.
Oh yeah.
And Lounge Against the Machine.
Yeah.
They covered this song in a comedic lounge music style in their 2005 album Aperitif, sorry, for Destruction.
Yes.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah,
Love
so
Richard
I mean, she had others, also see the brilliance like we do today, and like I'm gonna cover it too. Still not gonna be the best, but then it also reminds me of kind of like where we are with Adele. Same thing.
Oh, right.
Her album came out with all her angst,
right,
and did really well. And her second still did well, but from my understanding too, that she could fall in love, had a baby, and now she's no longer with the baby daddy.
The next album's gonna be fire. Like, now she's gonna be like, oh, I'm a grown woman, and
because it'll be what. 32, because her albums are her age or whatever. That's the number of her albums. But we love the angst. Come on,
Well, yeah, it's related. It's almost like angst is a more difficult emotion to let out. Otherwise, it's like if I'm feeling lovey-dovey, I can be like, oh, I'm just feeling so great, and I'm just madly in love, and I'm gonna talk about it and dance, and I'm all this stuff, and it's like when you're just angst and pissed about something, it's like not always as easy to let that out or talk about it, especially on a relationship level, and you just want to be in your car. And if that song and video weren't so like in our own time capsule, as far as like, oh, I remember that's mid-90s, if it did not exist and it came out today, it would still totally do the same thing. It would hold up just as well.
I agree.
And have just as much of an effect, because that's always something people need. Like, it's such a basic human interaction.
It is.
Whether it's a romantic relationship or not, of just like, you treated me like trash and I'm pissed about it.
And I want everyone to know about it.
And I'm going to call you out.
Although the cross-eyed bear still seems to work. I know Tim's like, why did you actually use cross on the eyes? I'm like, hey, it works. I don't have any googly eyes.
Right.
So you do what you do in a pinch. But she's one where whenever I do hear her name come up, Alanis, or what, I'm always kind of like, what you doing now? But you're right. I think she is now no longer with, I don't know if she divorced her.
No, I think they just had.
Oh, they just had another baby. Okay, sorry,
I'm
starting rumors here.
Right.
Sorry, Alanis. But yeah, so I'm curious to see what her other iteration will be.
Yeah.
For some reason, like my gut's telling me Broadway. I don't know. I mean, you never know. Especially we're seeing a lot of these Broadway shows that are of Tina Turner, of all these,
Oh, that'd be fun.
You never know.
Yeah.
And she has a big enough repertoire to do something with that.
Well, and let's not forget in Dogma.
Yeah.
She played Jesus.
That's
actually,
right.
I met
Played God.
Alanis.
Oh, she played God.
God. Yeah, not Jesus.
Yes.
I met her
What?
years ago, and it was like a group of us hanging out, and
You met Alanis Morissette?
Yeah. I forgot to mention that.
Oh my God! No, you need to.
I should have brought the pic. I have a picture.
Oh my God! Okay.
I'll get it to you.
You need to get to so we can put it on the
It could be like
But,
cover art for this with you holding the bear too,
Yes.
next to it.
We'll Photoshop it in. Yeah, so she was hanging out. We were doing this. I can sound like the most pretentious person on the planet right now.
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah.
Do you want me to present the story?
Please, fall.
Do you want me to present it in a way of
Yes.
like a classic LA guy of just like, no, it's not a big deal. Anyway, so I was taking a bus. There were like maybe 20 of us counting everybody. About 20 of us took a big, those really fancy tour bus.
Yeah.
And we took it from Nashville down to Atlanta. And once we got into the city, we had to have a police escort to get us to the van. I can't say this. I mean, this is true. We had a police escort through Atlanta. And so we get through, and then I don't even remember where we met her at. We met her at some building.
Was it? Did you pay to meet with her? Or?
No, it was like a second part of an internship that I had done.
Oh my God.
And, or maybe it was the first part. Maybe, I think it was like 50 of us. So we get down there and we meet her, and she's just hanging out, kind of waiting for us. And we all took our little meet and greet, and so many people had her do Buddy Jesus.
Yeah.
And like did the fingers for the picture. It was really great. She's super nice, really tiny. Just
she is tiny.
Yeah, she's, several inches shorter than me.
Yeah.
And then, then we went to her show, and they put us in a little VIP section.
I always get nervous meeting with people like that you really admire, because I'm like, are they going to be a jerk?
Uh-huh. They always say like, don't meet your idols.
Yeah.
No, she was super. I mean, it wasn't like a long time of sitting and like shooting the breeze, but she was very personable, very nice to everybody, and she was a delight.
Oh my God! Well, thank you for sharing that, because we had very.
And her shows are great. I've seen her twice.
Wow.
And I saw her on the Jagged Little Pill tour, and like on the floor, and I'm like, yes, give me this strong woman energy. I need it. Yeah, she's great.
Well, I'm excited to see again where her next venue's going to be, because I think either way, I think you're right. She's at this point of her life where like, I'm older. I know me.
She seems happy.
Yeah.
Like, I have a great career doing what I love. I'm in control of it. I don't need to, she doesn't seem to have that need to be like, and I'm on top of where am I at on the charts, and I'm touring, and I'm important. It's like, no, she knows that what she's putting out is what matters, and very admirable.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Oh my gosh.
It was, like I said, when I heard the story the first time, I was dying, and then I couldn't believe it when I started doing the Google search. On Cross-Eyed Bear, so many memes, so many beloved comments about it. So you are not alone.
I'm gonna be in a support group of all of us idiots.
I mean, Josh, was that the first time you'd heard that reference?
Cross-Eyed Bear?
Yes.
Ever? Yeah, first time ever. Yeah, never crossed my mind.
Oh, no, because I couldn't imagine what a cross-eyed bear would be.
Well, I was raised Catholic. I was in private
me
school,
too.
so I was like, no, I know about the cross.
We're all bearing some crosses around this place.
Drag that baby in the car, and then they put him on.
I still, and I know we're wrapping up, but I still don't feel confident in understanding the term cross-eyed bear.
But it kind of works though, because when you look at the lyric, just to look back, it says, "It's not fair to deny me of the cross-eyed bear that you gave to me. You gave to me this cross-eyed bear. You ought to know."
I'll call her. I got a lot of calls, so you better go.
Oh my God! But thank you again, and you guys check out Alicia and her sidekick or duo, partner in crime with Emily, Murder in the Rain. They are doing awesome, and they are just growing and growing. And what I love about it, coming from the Northwest, is there's a lot of crazy people that that live here.
Our list is long. We're at the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. And if you enjoy Josh here, you can hear him there too.
Yeah.
He does all our work there.
It's true.
Oh. Well, thanks again, and I probably wouldn't be surprised if we have you coming on back later on with another crazy.
I've got plenty of things I've misheard.
All right, thank you again. All right.
Yay.
I learned so much.
I know.
With what I found, and then I didn't realize about the Taylor Hawkins and everything.
Right. Well, Dave Navarro, that's wild.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, she probably knows about that crazy thing.
Idea.
He was probably
explains a lot about his behavior and personality, though.
Navarro?
Yeah.
And drug use. And
yes.
And he said a lot of that, it probably would have happened maybe anyway, but it got worse.
Yeah. You're in the music industry. You're going to be exposed to stuff, but you're going in with that kind of baggage. It's going to really mess you up.
Ugh.
But I'll have to look into that.
Do you want to record the lyric? You want to do the lyric?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let me grab my.
What's happening?
So this is.
do you sing it?
I recorded the audio for both, so they're just here, so we should be able to. As I'm recording, you can just do it live.
Yeah. Wait, what's happening? You're gonna sing it?
Yeah, so I always what we usually do is I said, and I'm gonna have her. We'll have her listen to the first because it's a short, small. We always start out with the misheard lyric.
Oh,
and then we go from there to jump into the banter.
Perfect.
So let me just find where it's at.
Okay. Do you know where it is, like time-wise?
Yeah, not time-wise, but it's
give it 40. Go to 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's the first chorus. It's in the chorus, so. Oh boy. Or we can start from the top if that's easy for you, because it gets to it.
I want to see how close I was. It's like when I see Ghost is on TV, like in the guide, and I see how long it's in, and I'm like, okay, they're at the scene at the bank. Yes!
You are amazing. You're almost like a Rain Man, but
with things that are super not helpful or useful underneath.
Okay. Thank you for being one step ahead of me with that, because then we figured out how to do it last time.
All right.
Had that older virgin of me.
So how much of a lead do you want before the lyric happens? Or if you well, here I can just.
Was I right on the time?
Yeah, let's
I
see.
put it at. Well, let's see.
Yeah, I'm curious if Rain Man over here got it right.
Oh, what did you do?
Again, super important.
And if we need to, it might be easier starting. I don't know. It's hard to go in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, especially because it's like that's where when the chorus.
The crescendo goes.
Because I'm here. Well,
Yeah.
So that'd be really hard to kind of. To remind you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna listen to that album on the way home. It's still so good.
That's it.
Love that you gave that we made, isn't it?
So it's recording. I'm sorry. I can start over too. If you
Yeah, can you
okay.
actually just start from the top? It'll just be easier. And
From the very beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then
Yeah,
We'll just have a little sing along.
yeah, no, and then once then you're done. Once we got the crossover, we can. It's really hard because it's a weird setting. You know, you're not.
Oh yeah, it's like, hi everyone. I'm just gonna sing into this thing.
Okay.
Let's see. We're recording.
It's happening.
It's getting there.
It's getting there. Come on, Alanis.
3, 2, song.
I want you to know that I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but the best for you both. Am I off? I don't know if I'm starting
Do you want to
correctly.
listen to the album version?
Yeah, let's
do that.
When she go down. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were one line ahead.
Yeah, ahead.
Yeah.
Oh. Whoops.
To be open wide. No! It was always like her age was always so inspiring, and then
Yeah.
it was also like, not.
No.
Because then you know when I'm like 18, I'm like,
Wow,
Wow.
I'm a slacker.
Fiona Apple.
I know Fiona
Alanis
Apple.
Morissette, like all these girls that I'm like, oh, I guess I should have those things happening already if that's gonna happen.
And then Lord comes in at 19
Oh,
too,
right.
18. My question is, where does it start? Because I'm not looking at the line.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
I think it was the.
I was one step ahead.
You were like a measure early.
Can you like?
I think it's the second. Yeah.
Okay, that's when it hits the.
You know what else I can do is you could just sing
I was
along
gonna
to
say,
the,
why
to
don't
the
you-
track.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
let's do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
makes more sense.
As long as
And then I
the
can
time.
just put the
As
instrument.
long as
Well,
the
hopefully I can
timing's
put the
like
instrument. I'll see if it
exact.
lines up. If
Okay.
it doesn't, we can fix it. But
Okay.
it should be fine.
Okay.
All right.
Also learning about the word duplicity,
That's another
especially
one too.
with how she broke it up.
Yeah.
I was like, Mr. Duplicity, but didn't realize that it was like duplicity, as in you are a duplicitous person.
That's why I would love to do that fly on that wall with her and Glenn Ballard
Right.
when they're figuring out the lyrics with no
Yeah,
music.
Yeah.
You know.
that's wild.
All right.
Those musical geniuses, I
know.
tell ya.
All right, we're rolling. It should
Okay.
start in a second.
Thank you. Want you to know that I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but the best for you both. An older version of me, is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theater? Does she speak eloquently? And would she have your baby? I'm sure she'd make a really excellent mother. 'Cause the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. No. And every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me you hold me until you died? Till you died, but you're still alive. And I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me of the cross-eyed bear that you gave to me. You ought to know.
Nice.
Good work.
Also, I can't unhear Flea's bass now. How did I not recognize?
Right?
Like I've had a love for Flea for such a long time. Like, love. Really.
I didn't know this about
love
you.
Flea. Well, all my friends make fun of me because all my celebrity crushes are. They call them interesting looking.
But so you don't like
Flea is one of them.
You like the for me. For a while, when I was younger, I really loved Tim Curry for many years.
Oh yeah.
And you were like, ooh, that's kind of. I'm like, no, there's some sexuality with that dude.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like that about you because you're not for the usual like the Brad Pitts of the world or the.
Oh
you know.
no, one of my first celebrity crushes was Steve Buscemi.
Oh, I love Steve
From
Buscemi.
Fargo. I was like, ooh, that sex scene. I was like, ooh, what's going on here? With the hooker, with that. That's the sex scene that gets me.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's very normal. That's kind of sometimes what it's like. Yeah.
But now, I love that I learned that because I could tell it. Boom, like
that's him.
the
So
way
those
he
two
plays.
worked on it. Him and Dan Navarro. I'm like, okay, we got the words.
Crazy.
How would it work? But there it is.
It might not line up.
So that's all right. Then let's go from.
It might be easiest to do an older version.
Yeah,
That's where the
that's where it
music
went. Yeah,
changes.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, because that's when it went.
Yeah, are we going again?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's just do it.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
That's right. Okay, you'll have 5 seconds of lead time, and we're recording now.
Okay, thank you. I want you to know that I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but the best for you both.
Oh, what's this version? Maybe this version
It is,
sucks.
I think there's, but I was just going to pop in and be like, because it's still early enough before. So, like, if you rewind, like, just a couple seconds, and then you just pop in
at the beginning.
Oh, version.
okay.
Because right when that little.
Yeah. Okay, so just wait until that thing goes.
I think so. Yeah, because I can't tell if there's like a lead.
I know, I can't either.
The instrumental version is a few seconds. Oh no, you know what? It is longer because
Right.
it's the karaoke version and it shows the information before
so
on
probably
YouTube.
gives you like a 4
It's just
camera
longer,
thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Because all I need for you, because you can see when the thing goes, you just need to look at me and go, then I know when to start.
Yeah, when it gets big.
Yes.
Let me see if this
Yeah. Because I just can't see.
right there.
An older version of Mary?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Okay. So we're about it's like a couple seconds.
Okay.
So it'll be here. I'll just play it and then you'll. Is that? I'll just play for you. Okay.
None of me.
Right?
Is she
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
providing
All right,
me?
let's do it. Sorry.
All right. No. It's no problem. It's fun. It's great. It's fun to hear you sing. All right. We're recording.
The older version.
Sorry.
Okay.
Gotta get them bloops.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
Well,
like,
you have enough time though. I mean, you still have enough time before.
okay.
I
So,
can make this longer too, so there's more lead in too. So you can kind of like.
no, so when you go, then
Yeah.
I can say, and no. Is
Okay.
that okay?
I don't know if I have the timing for that.
That's okay.
I'll
We'll
try
try.
so hard.
Can I pop on?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
To sing as well.
Just that part.
Yes.
Okay.
Am I? Hello? Am I on? Can you hear me?
Not yet.
Can you hear me?
No, not yet.
Just at the. An older. There I am.
It's that
I'm
part.
And it's not a bad idea if you guys sing together
Yeah.
as well.
Well, I no.
No, okay.
Take over, Melisha.
Version of me. Is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theater? Does she speak eloquently? And would she have your baby? I'm sure she'd make a really excellent mother. 'Cause the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. No. And every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me you hold me until you died? Till you died, but you're still alive. And I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me of the cross-eyed bear that you gave to me. Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Ow. Good stuff.
Cool. That was great.
Ready to do it.
Want to hear it back?
Yes, please. Thank you, Alicia.
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Can you not hear it?
I can't hear it.
Oh, weird.
This is very...
Oh, I think I turned you. I think I turned you down.
I know I'm loud. Sorry.
Can you hear it? Use it.
Yeah. Make it louder. Yeah, I can hear it now. Yeah, that works.
Nice.
Perfect. Thank you.
Excellent day.
Thank you. So I'm working with my friend Sarah King. She's a musician in town. She does karaoke, Sing with the King. She does karaoke every Monday nights at Alberta Street Pub.
Okay.
She's checking on, I said, how, can you check with the owner, like if I wanted to do a Saturday launch party?
Oh, yeah.
What would, she's like, oh, that's going to be hard because they really have bands pretty much lined up, She's like, however, if you do it Monday with me, it will be free. And I said, all right, let's. So
we did ours on a Tuesday,
yeah.
I think, just because, again, like
free is a free is a good price.
And it wasn't like a Saturday night thing.
Yes.
And it was just the 2 hours or whatever, and
that's exactly
it worked super well.
So I told her, I said, can you look on Monday 9/9 because that's the week after Labor Day, so people should be back. Her karaoke starts at 9, but I said, can we start like 6:30 or 7 or 8 before? Even an hour is fine, just to. And she's like, yeah, that works. She goes, let me just check, and it'll be free. And I will pay her something like a nice tip. But then we can do karaoke.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
So that's what we're thinking of.
Yeah, and 8's great because it's like we did ours fairly earlier, just because it was like people work and it's a Monday, whatever. But no, that's so fun. And then just to have it there.
Just have it there. So I figure people can sing and then like giveaways, whatever, and then sing the first song. I want to share with Alicia what she can hear, and then play, and it because the first one is perfectly 9-10 minutes, so it's not too long. So it's a nice. They're not sitting there like 30 minutes,
right?
Because I told them, I said I really wanted the first one to be short and sweet, kind of a nugget, and then the other one's longer. Right. So, do you have it? I wanted her to hear it.
Oh, the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode. Yeah. It's like 9-10 minutes total for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
He did. He's amazing. He added some things. I'm like, oh my god, I love it. That's genius.
It's ridiculous.